Time now for Harm Reduction, heard every Tuesday at 7 p.m. with Will Beaton, Cutting Edge Radio, where we'll ask the questions others don't want to ask. Now here's your host, Will Beaton.
Hello everybody, it is the Harm Reduction Report. I am Willard TeaBelly. This is episode 30. I'm reporting to you for one of the very fewest, firstest, lastest times from actual GFunk, good old GFunk, North Dakota. In a couple weeks, shortly, I am moving away for a while, and the show's going to change a little bit. Your pal Cal's going to be the main host, and I'll still be sending in some reports and things to share. The show will go on, but these last 3 episodes, I wanted to think about what do I want to say as I'm sort of leaving G-Funk and what's on my mind in relation to the show, in relation to what we've done. How do I want to thank everybody? And this is the very, very last episode before things change. And so I decided that I really wanted to play some music. I have some music, sticking to the Sandbagger News tradition of change. What that means when we're covering people's music is often we'll take a song we really enjoy, but then change all the words, and sometimes completely make the words, give the words the opposite meaning than they had in the original song, and see how many different funny ways you can twist the words on themselves to create sort of a different way of saying the same thing. It's kind of a fun experiment. And so the next several songs you'll hear, it's about 9 songs or so, fill the hour episode here for the radio, are covers. I've changed all the words, and I've just recorded them, and they all make me think something about this harm reduction world that we're in. And this first one in particular rolls right out of our last episode about memory. These are all true stories. This is coming from a Johnny Cash song, Sunday Mornin' Comin' Down. I've changed the words so that they fit our good old context of G-Funk. And I hope you enjoy this one. Johnny Cash, he's one of my favorite folk singers. Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, and Tom Brousseau. Those are my 3 favorite folk singers. And here's old Cash. Well, I woke up Sunday morning with no way to hold my head that didn't hurt. And the beer I had for breakfast wasn't bad, so I had one more for dessert. And I fumbled for my phone, rolled around and found my cleanest, dirty shirt. And I wondered what was going on outside in my Sunday morning world. And on a Sunday morning sidewalk, I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. For there's something about a Sunday that makes a body feel alone. And there's nothing short of dying that's half as lonesome as the sound, as them slippery G-Funk sidewalks on Sunday morning coming down. And I walked on down Columbia Road between the cemetery and the liquor store. And I remembered all the nights I stumbled home alone down University Ave and Frat Row. And the night in our front lawn we found a freshman girl blacked out in a bank of snow. And I know that she'd be dead and frozen an hour more if we hadn't unlocked the door. And on a Sunday morning sidewalk, we'd be asking God, why'd she have to go? Don't tell me that it's just because she had nobody offer to drive her home. Oh, and there's nothing short of dying half as lonesome as the sound, as them sirens saying your life is over on your way to jail or to the hospital morgue. I sat down in Archives coffee shop with the Grand Forks Herald headline on my mind.
Another couple of local kids were caught selling pills and marijuana they got online. And the comments right there on it all agreeing that them druggies deserve to die. And I couldn't wrap my head around just how we let it get so bad, so close to a Sunday morning sidewalk. I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned, so I wouldn't wanna be popping my doctor prescribed oxycodone. Oh, and there's nothing short of dying, brothers, half as lonesome as the sound as North Dakota kids overdosing again, and old men laughing on the radio. After dark, I found myself by my parents' house, walking to the park. I stood under the gazebo where my middle school homies always used to come hang out and talk. I hung my head to cry, remembering why, just how many have passed on already. And just then a pickup truck rolled by real slow, suspicious of what I was doing alone. And sure enough, he called the cops on me. Can't even grieve, can't even grieve, can't even grieve. Now look at me on a Sunday morning sidewalk. I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned, so I wouldn't be tempted to drinking or thinking that there'd never be any hope. And there's nothing short of dying, half as lonesome as the sound as them slippery GFunk sidewalks in a parking lot of another buddy's funeral.
So Johnny Cash had a TV show, and he wanted to perform this song, Sunday Morning Coming Down, and one of the lyrics that of his that I definitely left in the whole song there was, on a Sunday morning sidewalk, I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. Those are his words. But on his TV show, he was constantly fighting with his network, to do, more risque things than they were willing, and, cooler things, basically. More, as he would say, gutsy things. They didn't want him to use the word stoned because they thought that was, a little too dipped in the taboo and meant something, that they couldn't say on television. This was what they're worried about. And they tried to tell him not to do it, and he was pushing them on this. And when it actually came down to their live recording, a big studio audience live recording of the show, he looked right up at his friend in the balcony when it came time for that word and he said the words, I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. And that song has meant a lot to me, so I've played it in this context. And you can have a Sunday morning like that, walking around, a real lonely Sunday morning, when you do realize how closely tied all these things are, like all my friends buried in the cemetery across the street from the liquor store. Next is an homage to Rodriguez, Sixto Rodriguez from Detroit, Michigan, who has such an amazing story. Watch the movie Searching for Sugar Man. Great music, also an incredible movie. It's my favorite music-related documentary I've ever seen. It's very moving. And I've seen Marley, that movie on Netflix about Bob Marley, which is phenomenal too. Check this out about Rodriguez, Searching for Sugar Man. He was basically, not to ruin anything, because this is what you know going into it, is he made a couple albums, and then in the United States he recorded a couple albums in the early 70s and just kind of disappeared. But meanwhile, his music became very popular in South Africa and led to like supporting people against the apartheid revolution and this big cultural revolution and all that. So this is his song Sugar Man that I've changed the words to. And what I really like about it, Sugar Man, is it's a very sad song when you listen to his recording, and very moving, and it makes you relate to these people. And I think it brings in the idea of compassion, which, as we discussed a couple weeks ago on the show, is living with suffering. You know, it's living with people, it's accepting them where they're at and loving them. And the secret, of course, is you treat people with the respect and love that you wish to be treated with, because deep down you really know that you may be this person after all. That the light shining out of all of your eyes is the same. This is Rodriguez and Sixto's vision of what can happen to a human being, in this case called the Sugar Man.
Sugar man, do you hear me? I am tired of these scenes. For a little coin, won't you bring back all the colors to my dreams? Silver magic ships you carry, jumpers, Coke, the good, sweet Mary Jane. Sugar man, won't you hurry? I don't know how much more of this I can take. If you make it, I may take it. Anything to take away this pain. Teacher man, why'd you tell us that marijuana is the gateway drug? Meanwhile, alcohol, which lowers your inhibitions and all, really ain't so bad and is what you'd rather have us on. Propaganda lies you carry. The cocaine and amphetamine are the same thing as Miss Mary Jane. Teacher man, please hurry. That you shouldn't keep us out in the dark when you tell us not to question anything. Can you be surprised when your advice don't take? Judge a man, can you tell me really why's the sentence gotta be so long? Believe us, we know what we're doing is illegal, but I'm wondering why health issues against the law. This bloodlust war on drugs you carry is actually a war on tax-paying human beings like you and me. Judge a man, please hurry. We need to know that overflow to prisons hurt our economies. And if we don't know what we're supporting, if we knew that treatment was an option, things would be a lot different, huh? Dr. Man, is there anything I can take to make my nightmares go away? And have you been watching out for what they've been talking about. Them skyrocketing prescription and addiction rates. The cocktail of hard pharma drugs you carry make me crazy. Why can't you describe me some of that Mary Jane anyway? Dr. Man, I know your hands are tied. You're on your man of facts, and that's what I respect. But is there any way you can stand up and say that it's insane that we treat our people and our veterans this way? Congressman, you've been elected to protect us, but that's just not the message we've been getting. Did you not promise? Didn't that you want us trusting that you got us in your heart and not your pockets? Business insurance interests you carry don't want us growing our own medicine in the form of old Mary Jane, do they? Congressman, it just can't be a cash grab that you're really interested in. But if you want to rule us, stop trying to fool us. It's pure ignorance to let us think the jury is not in. It is. Man, please forgive me. I never thought this could happen to me. I swear I've listened. I've been a good kid, and I miss it. All them innocent Sunday school days. All man's sins and mine you carry. You can lighten the load with a little of our Lady Mary Jane, you know. Jesus, man, please hurry. I'm pretty sure you've got something we lack. And while we're waiting for you, all our morgues are overflowing, and we need a dose of your good compassion fast. Sugar man, I am worried that it's much too late for anyone to save us. Sugar man, if we can't get through to 'em, our mamas may be meeting up at our graves in the end.
This next song is a combination of two songs smashed together. My friend Connor and I in high school devised this here amalgam of musical jams by mixing Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People with Kids by MGMT. And I like to call this version of the tune Pumped Up Kids. And it draws on some of the same ideas of the original songs with tales. This especially harkens to my UND years when I witnessed for the first time lots of college students using substances like Adderall to supplement a recreational and academic lifestyle. Both. at the same time. It's very interesting, actually, how it can be used for such purposes. But I've seen this, and it also harkens to my growing up and seeing this, especially the Adderall train, seeing this in high school and even earlier, seeing how it impacts the developing brain. People I knew who were on this for a long time have told me in college that it had a huge impact on them, and not for the better most often. And so I'll be honest with you, this song gets a little grim at the very end, and I recorded it the way it is because this is how I have it written down, and I'm just kind of ripping through these in my my stash of songs here. But I realize that the end is written kind of depressing, and perhaps that shouldn't be the end. When you think about the Pumped Up Kicks, that song is a super happy, go lucky, vibin' kind of tune. But it's the most depressing kind of topic imaginable, basically like patricide and a school shooting. But it has a really happy tune. This is, I'm not sure where it stands. It's just 4 chords ripped over and over again. And it's so depressing I can't even talk about it at the end, really. So I guess I've decided to smash in the next song, which will roll right into it after that, which is a cover of All Along the Watchtower. Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix made famous this song, the two of them. And I really like it because I've been on campus at the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis, and some people said that this one certain tower that you can see on campus, this building, this tower, is the tower that Bob is potentially inspired by when he wrote this. I'm not sure. I have one friend I should consult who will know one way or another because he knows everything about Bob Dylan, Eric. But if you're listening, just correct me now, please. But All Along the Watchtower, I've changed it to be called All Throughout the News Hour. And don't take it too seriously. But that's what we're going to get right now. This Pumped Up Kids, which rolls into also A minor. I can just leave my harmonica on, and it's All Throughout the News Hour.
When you were a child, crawling on your knees toward us, making mama so proud, but you just wouldn't sit down. Oh, we loved to watch you laughing, but it's even better when you listen and when you feel your consequences. So control yourself, take only what you need from it. The teacher said you've been wild, another problem child. Control yourself, can't you be like everybody else? Doctor said try vibing, sad, straighten him out. When you were in school, trying to be so cool, it wasn't easy to do when nobody believed in you. Don't you wanna go to college, kid? But you can't even keep a job, can you? How you think you're gonna make it? Well, Robert's got a twitchy hand, he's staying up late, he'd never get to sleep anyway. Not on them pills that mama makes him take. He's wondering if he's gonna break. If God really loves him, why'd he make him this way? What's he supposed to say when all the voices in his head? Oh, all you other kids with your twitchy little hands, better run, fast as you can. All you other kids with your heavy eyelids, you better run, faster than they're saying. Control yourself, take only what you need from it. Professor said there's no way you're gonna make it to graduation day. Control yourself, you gotta be like everybody else. Doctor said give him Ritalin, yes, more milligrams 3 times a day. Man, when you're on your own, what you think you're gonna do? Don't you wanna be loved Don't you wanna go to heaven? Boy, you better listen up. You only live once. Listen to us. Control yourself. Take only all that you can see from it. The preacher says it's a sin to have your own experience. Control yourself. You must be like everybody else. The doctor said, give him Adderall. That'll put him down once and for all. Well, Robert is about to snap. He don't understand, no, he don't understand why everybody's on his back. How the heck's he supposed to listen when the voices are hissing? If he's tripping, it ain't easy, is it? You gotta kick him down, make him guilty somehow, and don't give him too much listening. Cause all you other kids with your unbruised skin better run, outrun the gun. All you other kids on your medications, you better run, faster than the bullet. All you other kids with the stable parents, you better run, outrun my gun. All you other kids with your healthy little heads, you better run, outrun, run. There must be some kind of way out of here, said old Minnie to old Paul. There's too much miscommunication, I don't know who to believe at all. Newsmen, they play with our minds, turn us against each other, brother. Meanwhile, we all be running out of time. Can we stay this way forever? No reason to hide anything. Sincerely spoke old Paul to Minnie. Ain't nothing gonna come between us now, but except God and the Mississippi. But you and I, we've been shaking hands longer than I wanna say. So we ought not be talking falsely to each other now. If I can't trust you, I can't trust anybody. Yeah. All throughout the news hour, producers create the news. While we wonder what's really going on, and while we ponder how it is we're being used. Outside in the Minnesota cold, the Mississippi softly roars. Two anchors are reporting what they're saying, really, who knows?
This is Willard TeaBelly. You're listening to the Harm Reduction Report on KEQQ Radio, 88.3 FM GFunk. You knew that already. I'm realizing right now I should have just called this the Bob Dylan Hour. It's more so to the truth, because probably the next four songs are all Bob Dylan inspired riffs in the Tradition of Change series of tunes I'm playing here for my G-Funk farewell. The next one is going to be River Red, coming from, of course, It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. This will be The Floods Will Come Again, River Red. Same sort of joke. I like these next songs because it gets much more positive here, you know? It's less so dwelling on the hard times and the real dark times, and now more so singing about sandbagging and finding out what we can do about it ourselves. So the next few, I hope, give you a nice sensation of what a sandbagger is. Think about the metaphor, you know. I use the metaphor a lot every day, many times throughout every day I ask myself, what would a sandbagger do in this situation? If this were a flooding sandbag chaotic thing happening right now, that was my reality, and I'm just a sandbagger with what I got standing here with everyone else, what would I do in this situation? I do this and find many times that it's good for me. I learn a lot, and I usually, well, it helps me come to decisions anyway, and perhaps it brings me confidence, whether it's for the best or not. A. Watts would remind me to say that it's almost impossible to say. But this is The Floods Will Come Again, River Red, and if you ask me, the beauty of such a statement is reminding us, using our memory and our history, to know that these floods, they come again and again and again. You know, they're not the kind of thing that can just stop, that we could ever control completely. And so you can be remorseful. You can say, well, it's horrible then. We'll just be working forever. Our sandbaggers will be sandbagging forever, and we'll never escape this work. But actually, you don't want it to. You don't want to escape it. And it's not so bad, actually, and that's pretty much why you don't want to escape it. You need it in order to live at all. And it doesn't have to be seen as a horrible thing. It's more like a heartbeat. It goes in and out. You would never say you wish it would only go in or never go out, because then, it just wouldn't work out that way. So what I'm saying about the River Red, I'm not sure. Perhaps I should just let you decide. But this is, of course, a Bob Dylan riff, and thank you for listening.
You gotta go soon, take nothing with you, it won't last. And whatever you think you see moving is really motionless. You understand your sandbags by the banks, fighting back the nothing in its way. Look down, kid, the water's gone away. But the flood will come again, the river end. The river is for fishes, you better respect it. People have been paddling down it for centuries. Who knows where it's gonna be tomorrow? Who knows where it's going really right now? Floating on up to what's left of Lake Winnipeg. The floods will come again, river end. All your homesick homies wanna save the world. All your muddied enemies are made of words. The stuff you've got behind your basement door is worth as much as nothing in your heart. Oh, find my body in the water under Hudson Bay. The floods will come again, the river end. Leave your tombstones behind, there ain't no time for that. The rumors that you heard about dying are nothing more than that. So grab me by the ankles and the wrists. Heave me 1, 2, 3 times, don't think twice. the floods come again, the river red.
This is the Harm Reduction Report. You are still listening, wow, to my G-Funk farewell. My last episode as a main host of the Harm Reduction Report for the time being. We're playing some songs and singing about memories and compassion. The next one, like I warned you already, is going to be another Bob Dylan riff. It's coming from the song Shelter from the Storm, which is a really lovely one. You know, it every time I listen to it, it brings me lovely, nice feelings, and definitely right now brings me into awareness of our topic of compassion that we had last a couple weeks ago. Which, you know, living is with compassion means calm with passion, like the sorrow, suffering kind of means living with this thing, and it also reminds me again of the word harm reduction. Harm comes from an old Scandinavian word meaning, or called something like harmur. I think my Icelandic cousins would they approve? Harmur. I think they'd say I'm saying it right. Maybe I'm just sounding like a silly fool. Harmur. It means suffering or sorrow, actually. It means harmur is sorrow and grief. And that's what we're reducing when we sing about harm reduction. And so what better medicine is there for sorrow and grief than music? For a lot of people, there's nothing. And for a lot of people throughout all time, I guess that's what blues music is, you know. that's what a lot of this stuff is. That's what these songs are about. And when I'm singing my own version of them, I think I'm connecting with my inner Tom Brousseau. Tom Brousseau, of course, is my favorite G-Funker. He's a musician. Check out his music. He's written many albums of folk music, rock and roll music about G-Funk and our traditions and our heritage, and such a sincere dude. He's taught me a lot about sincerity and also about how to play the guitar. And I got to see him play at Chautauqua last year. Remember, there is Chautauqua at Old Crossing at the end of August every summer. So check it out. I don't know if Tom's playing this year, but he did last year. It was a lot of fun. This next one, Shelter from the Storm, it's going to be called Come Heck or High Water, because, of course, on the radio I can't say what's actually on my 1997 commemorative flood mug here. Come HE double hockey sticks or high water. I could just sing that every time, come HE double hockey sticks or high water. But heck is shorter. For the time being, it'll work.
'Twas in another lifetime, one of fire and floods. When water come up out of the ground, them people had to run. The river come from the wilderness, a creature void of form. Come heck or come high water, come heaven to our homes. I will never pass this way again, you can have my word. And any images you have developed may now be burned in a world of muddy mornings and I've drowned out downtown stores. Come heck or come high water, come heaven to our homes. Not a word was spoke between us, our lips met on shore. One a pair of calloused hands, the other water storm. Try imagining a place that's neither south or north. Come heck or come high water, come heaven to our homes. I was snowed in from the winter, I could barely feel my toes. She could freeze them off down to the bone without a morsel of remorse. I could it be that holy Hannah somehow had me at hello. Come heck or come high water, come heaven to our homes. Suddenly I turned around and she was coming down. The Red River and her angry dead moaned a soulful sound, but I did not listen close and hear the sad love song. Come heck or come high water, come heaven to our homes. Now there's a between us, something that's been lost. I had to build it up a mile high, or so I thought. I forgot that every sandbag water goes up as I gotta come down. Come heck, come high water, come heaven to our homes right now.
This is the Harm Reduction Report. Still Willard TeaBelly singing some songs for you, hanging out on a happy G-Funk day. The next one we're going to hear is, again, indeed another Bob Dylan song coming from The Man in Me. I'm calling it The Sandbagger in Me. And instead of a woman soulmate we are singing to as the speaker of the song, we are singing to the one and only river. The river, which gives the sandbaggers the source of their life. See, I love bringing back to this whole thing. The harm reduction people could not exist if the harm did not exist. So Alan Watts would somewhat jokingly say to us, you can't reduce all the harm because then you'd be out of a job. But of course, that's just a funny way of saying that we do owe something to these forces that seek to destroy us, because they do make us who we are one way or another. So I don't know what I'm saying about who the harm reduction people are or what they're standing for exactly. I'm not saying anybody's out to destroy them, but I guess they are there because of the harm that seems to be our enemy, but we have to actually embrace it and respect it, whatever it is, whoever the enemy is. So for the sandbagger's perspective, of course, the enemy is the water, is the river itself. But of course, you can't think that way completely. I mean, they could bomb the river, they could totally destroy it, they could move it, but then they'd soon find out that actually they were depending on it. And of course, they know that, so that's why they don't totally destroy or put a hole, put the river in a underground vault. They still need it, so they're trying to control it. They don't want it to flood, but they don't want it to disappear either. So how do they adapt to that? Well, they have to love their enemy, and they have to embrace it, and embrace the moments where it even threatens to kill them. And so this here's the Sandbagger in Me.
See nearly anything, but as for understanding, that's a whole other story. Takes a river like you to wet through to the sandbagger in me. Sandbags are stacking all along the shore. I think to myself, I might as well wrap up a few more. It takes a river like you to wet through to the sandbagger in me. And oh, what a wonderful feeling, that freezing water between my toes. Sits my sandbagging feet are reeling, and while we dancing, nobody knows. The man in me will reason why, for he was born at all. But the only thing he knows for sure is that he meant to build a wall. It takes a river like you to prove that he's no man at all. Oh. Say, oh, what a wonderful feeling, that freezing water up my nose. Sets our species on to believing that though we're sandbaggers, nobody knows about rising water too.
This next one's here is about the tradition of change. It's coming from Bob's, and I don't know if he wrote this one or not. I had the feeling it was an older folk song. Maybe it was his original, I don't know. But I first heard old Bob Dylan sing it. I Shall Be Released. I guess that's the name. I'm leaving it for now. My words, it'll still end with that line. It's got some alterations, as you'll see. But I'm choosing to have it be about the tradition of change, which is something we've talked about before, which is, of course, something I feel the need to address. I want this to be a concept that we can better understand together, because I'm trying to better wrap my head around it. And I found that when I am at terms with it, my anxiety is down, and my feeling of confidence and support and my ability to give support and contribute to a community seems enhanced. That is, when the tradition of change does not seem like something I have to overcome or destroy. It's not something that can be grappled with and beaten into submission. It's something that must be given in to. It's what Awats would say the Buddhists call the floating nature of, say, a ball in a mountain stream, floating on the stream. When the new waves and obstacles come, the ball completely gives way to them, and thus finds itself able to float effortlessly around every obstacle. And this, as opposed to, say, rowing in the opposite direction of where the water is going, pushing, saying, I belong there, and the person who's floating letting the water take them, like the ball, wherever it decides they ought to be. This song, I Shall Be Released, perhaps it's hearkening to... Perhaps I should sing it as an old man. I think it's going to be funny if I am an old man someday and I listen to this song. I think it'll be funny then. Let me just say that.
They say everything can be replaced, yet every message is not the same. Who needs paper to communicate? You can find it all on the internet anyway. Hey, I see my tradition a changing from the page onto the screen. Any day now, I shall be obsolete. They assume that food comes from the grocery store, and that heat is made in the furnace below. Oh, why should I care what's really true? They tell me everything I need to know on the 10 o'clock news. Oh, I see my tradition a changing from the farm onto the iPhone. Any day now, I shall be left alone. They say any man can go insane, or even easier, just forget who he's meant to be. What are you supposed to pass on before you're gone? Somebody tell me what it is I'm supposed to say. Hey, I see my tradition a changing from myself unto my grandsons. Any day now, I shall be forgotten. Growing up with me in this lonely valley, there's been a river rising high in the banks. 20-some years ago it overflowed. 100 years before it done the same, and I'm bound to do it all again. I see my tradition a changing from the lake into the stream. Any day now, I shall be exchanged. We're holding on to something we call a tradition, but that ain't what our ancestors did. No. They went along with everything as it happened. To honor them, we ought to be doing the same. I see my tradition a changing from the grave into outer space. Any day now, I shall be released.
If anybody picked up the Aldo Leopold reference, I commend you fully, and you win the award. You win the Best Listener of the Day award. Because Aldo Leopold, he said that thing about food coming from the grocery store and heat from the furnace. And good for you if you caught that. Thank you for humoring me on it. The next song and last song this is going to roll right into the very end of the episode, the radio show, and the online version will be the same length today. It'll end when the next song ends, which is very fitting because it's a nice little farewell song. And it comes from a new favorite band of mine that I've really only known about for 1 year, The Grateful Dead. A riff on their song, Broke Down Palace, I'm calling Washed Out Valley. The Grateful Dead, I first learned about them more than a year ago when I was in San Francisco for the first time, attending the Multidisciplinary Association of Psychedelic Studies conference in Oakland. And I learned about the Grateful Dead. There was a San Francisco Film Festival happening, and I saw this movie, this 4-hour-long documentary that had just been released about the Grateful Dead. And wow. I saw that and learned a lot. I walked all through Golden Gate Park and saw the De Young Fine Art Museum's exhibit on the Summer of Love, which was exactly 50 years before the summer I was there. And I learned about the hippie revolution. That was a big deal. I mean, wow. I wonder how technology and the internet is like preventing another generation like that from rising. I'm not sure. The context is different. The context the hippies had was something, and I learned a thing or two about it. Perhaps we need a new revolution. It doesn't have to be like the hippie revolution. It can include more people than even that did, which seemed like a pretty inclusive deal. Actually, probably could have been portrayed as a little more inclusive. I'm wondering how. But this Washed Out Valley, it's me saying goodbye to GFunk for the current time being. I will definitely be back to visit, and perhaps we'll live here again someday. But it's hard to say. The truth is about the Washed Out Valley, no matter what valley it is you're coming from in this world, what home, is in order to spread perspective, which is the goal of the Psychedelic Club, you gotta leave home every once in a while and actually learn something new. If you have any hope of returning with any new information for people that's desperately needed back home, how could you be expected to have anything new to say if you haven't gone out and learned a few new songs to share? And so as I'm traveling, I'm looking behind me, and it is sort of still feeling like it has all my life, like it's that washed out valley. Like ever since I was 3 years old when the flood of 97 happened. Boom. Ever since then, I've been living in the washed out valley. I never got to see what it was like before that. But I'm going to return someday. And though I just sang some songs about singing about how the floods will return someday too, so is the glory of the people. And it'll come and go. And it'll just be all the more beautiful the more mindful people are of how it is that it comes in and out of being. We could do it in a way that totally includes our neighbors of different skin colors and everything. We can even, as sandbaggers, eventually begin to catch that glimmer in the eye of the cresting wave on the flood that's tipping over the bank, saying, I'm here for you, bud. You know why. Well, thank you everybody so much. I'm Willard TeaBelly signing off for the Harm Reduction Report for now. Leaving you in the capable, loving hands of your pal Cal next week. Thank you for everything you've ever done for me. I cannot wait to do more for you. Sandbag on.
I'm going to leave this washed out valley on my hands and my knees. I got a sandbag on. Found a familiar feeling creeping up between my toes. Silly sandbaggers, yeah, we're meant to be wet, so we are never alone. On the wall, with a view like this, you feel nothing at all. Listen to the river sing sweet songs and sandbag on. Gonna talk with you as soft as I can. Hollering's only a good thing when it's in a laugh. Much I've come to learn of everyone's crazy perspectives. Mama, many words I've heard since I first left home. Going home by the waterside, I will lay my bones. Listen to the river sing sweet songs and sandbag on. Gonna walk with you as long as I can. Ain't nowhere we be going, no, just round and round and round. Such a simple presence we know next to nothing about. Fighting until the day we die, the very force of life. Nice try. If you know where you're going and you don't know who you are, listen to the river sing sweet songs and the sandbag on. Gonna feel what's all around me. Still don't believe it's all real. This is where it's found me. It ain't no use of questioning the isness within. If you don't understand, my friend, just look again. River run, them banks ain't made to hold